What do you think the best decade would be ever, all time, to be a teenager?
Oh, I would say the 50s. Based on, you know, you're a teenager, there's a brand new kind of music, rock and roll, that's debuting that you can latch on to.
How's that different than hip-hop? Maybe the 80s would have been perfect for you. Earl, what about for you?
I would say the 60s with everything changing and everything going on, and where that was a point where everything was wide open. You can pretty much, like the 50s, you kind of had your life charted out for. You had to go to school, you got a job, you bought a house. The 60s, particularly the second
What about
half,
your friends, Potsy and Ralph Mel? You could hang out with them.
Yeah, but in the 60s, it was wide open. You had dope. You had, you know, sexual revolution.
Yeah,
political.
but you know what? Here's the problem, though. The 60s didn't make it into the suburbs until the fucking 70s. That's the fucking problem there. You weren't doing dope in fucking Akron in 1968 if you were in 11th grade. Maybe if you were at fucking Ohio State, you were getting fucking high. But I don't think you were really getting a lot of dope in high school then. Now, if you lived in California or on the hardcore East Coast, you could probably cop in the 60s. But if you look at high school kids in the 60s, they weren't fucking living the hippie lifestyle until the 70s, yeah.
Give me the roaring 20s. Because it was a fun time. You have the booze.
They were roaring.
Yeah, and the beginning of dancing. Plus, you know, you could maybe even make a ball team in the 1920s.
So you're saying because
as a teenager,
baseball was so bad?
Yeah, because baseball wasn't so good. Maybe I could probably make the Chicago White Sox when I was 18 years old back then.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have had the training that you had growing up now. In other words, you're thinking that because you played Little League all the way up until you made the school newspaper. Right. But the reality is this. You probably would have just been in some farm playing by yourself, throwing a ball up and hitting it. So when you finally walked out, you know, when you were 18, you're going, oh, there's other people playing.
Yeah.
Jack, you're on Fez.
Hey, man. Best generation, the 90s. I was a 90s child myself, man. My opinion, the best cartoons came out in the 90s.
All right, so you think to be in high school, the main thing is to watch cartoons?
Oh, of course.
Thanks. So he's basing it on the cartoon. By the way, call Warner Brothers and tell them it wasn't their golden age of cartoons. It was Ren and Stimpy. That was so fucking great. Here is Matt. Matt, you're on Run of Fez.
Hey, what's up? I just wanted to yell at Earl for a second about the 60s. One, I don't want to go to Vietnam. But that's a big thing for me. And two, I don't really want Earl in my school.
Well, in the 60s, you wouldn't have had to. Maybe late 60s, he would have showed up. 64, you would have been fine. 69, there would have been some fighting, particularly in Boston.
Yeah, my sisters were like the first generation of the mixed schools. And they said it was like you felt like more alive because you just were on your guard all the time.
Oh, so you're saying to have some fear in your life is the best way to live?
No, but it was like to be a part of something
like living on the frontier.
But it was something bigger. I mean, it was important. It was a milestone. It was a turning point in this country.
Here's Matt. Matt, you're on Fez.
Hey, Ron. I was going to say that the early 80s, because you had no HIV, you had birth control.
Well, HIV came in about, what, 82, 83? You started to hear about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it was just for gays.
And the drinking age was 21. So, it was a big deal to just binge drink. And DUIs weren't a big deal back then either.
That was also mid-'80s that the DUIs came up. Here's our good friend G-Man. G-Man, you're on Fez.
Dick holder 1229.
Yeah, brother. What's happening?
Hey,
wrong one.
Face.
There you go.
Nice,
face.
thank you. That's the right one. I think the best time to live at any age would have been in the early 1860s before Bejeeby and his brethren got liberated.
All right, G-Man, that's cruel.
Earl, that isn't what you meant by the 60s, was it?
No.
Oh, God, it was great. You didn't have to go to school. You could pick cotton. You were working outside. Here is Todd. Todd, you're on Fez.
Coming in loud and proud there, Ronnie.
Yeah, what's happening, brother?
1940s beatnik revolution, the original slacker generation.
Well, the thing is, unless you were one of the fucking guys hanging out there, you didn't even hear about it till 58. So, It was a long time before people found out about the beats. Here's Jay. Jay, the American, German Fez.
What's up, Ronnie?
Yeah.
I say 1970s. Fast cars, good drugs, great music.
That's sounds like a Beach Boys song.
It's hard to go against that, but I mean, everyone's thinking very modern. Wouldn't you want to be a teenager in a different time?
What, caveman teenager?
No, I'm just saying.
No. What's better than a 1970 CUDA and doing some blow off for some girl's titty?
I mean, here's the thing. $2 fucking Quaaludes? That's fucking hard to fight. And
What?
bullets? Tuies? Dropping fucking $2.
Well, with mine, in the 1920s, you can get a beer for a nickel. I mean, that's
We didn't have a nickel in those days. Yeah, you can get for a nickel, you can get nice cold beer and a hard-boiled egg or a pickle. Just sit there with no air conditioning and a starched fucking shirt. What is your fucking thing with the 20s?
The best sports heroes. I mean, it was one of the best times for America. The height of, or the beginning of mobsters. I mean, what interesting times.
We're talking about high school.
I know, but I mean...
You're not going to be hanging out with fucking mobsters?
Well, actually, a bunch of those guys were in their teens when they started. Al Capone was a very young gangster.
Pretty Boy Floyd? This is ugly-ass Dave.
I'm just saying, that would have been a great time to live in. My God. I mean...
For the running boards alone.
And it had great music and everything like that. You know,
what great music?
The big band era.
In the 20s? You're fucking 20 years ahead of yourself.
Really?
Yes, the big band era was the 40s.
Oh.
But you will get the depression if you hang out long enough.
I didn't say the 30s. I said the 20s. I think that was clear.
That was very clear. Extremely clear. Here's Jeffrey. Jeffrey, you're on Fez.
Hey, Ronnie. How about being a teenager right now? I mean, I went to a high school football game the other night, and these girls, I swear, I mean, they look like they're 21. They're smoking hot. When we were in high school, you met a girl, and she didn't go to your school. You didn't even really have a chance to see her again. Now you just jump on Facebook. You can email her.
Here's the problem. Dude, this is the thing that happens to adult men. When you're in high school, you can tell the difference between a pretty girl and a not-so-pretty girl. When the further you fall into adulthood, every high school girl looks bangable to you. And you're always saying, young guys, you should be fucking her. She's amazing. And he's like, really? No. And she's like, no, she's lacking a chin. Fuck the chin. You're going to be so far up her ass you can care about the chin. You have like much more taste. Your criteria is amazing when you're the same age as them.
Well, they're so young and they're so fresh. I had to move my parents' porch furniture on Saturday, and there was two girls who could not have been more than 14. And I swear to God, I just stared at them the entire time.
Where were they at?
My dad was like, what are you looking at? And he was creeped out by me.
Sure. I'm sure he's been waiting for you to be locked up for years.
I was just on the porch moving the furniture with my dad.
What are you, American Beauty? You're so fucking unhappy? You're staring at the kids next door?
How long did you have to hold the patio chair in front of your hard-on?
Yeah, oh my gosh. I didn't get fully erect.
Thank you.
But
we all appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Dan, you're on Fez.
Yeah, I think the 1890s would have been great because you could just go to the pharmacy and get some cough medicine with heroin in it. If you need to come down off it, you just go get some cocaine.
The 1890s. Just sitting around fucking drinking that cough medicine. Yeah, this is how sick this listening audience is. We're trying to have a real conversation, and it always comes back to how high you can get. That morphine in him right there. I'd be so fucking loaded.
That time would be interesting, though, because of, you could shoot people and whatnot. And get away with it. And get away with it.
So your big problem is you don't get away with murder? You want people to kill now?
Well, I mean, back then, if two guys got into an argument...
But let's say this. Let's suppose you killed somebody, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't get caught. You know you weren't going to get caught.
Right.
You still wouldn't have a nagging fucking guilt every day that you killed some motherfucker?
No, because I wouldn't randomly kill. That's serial killer. But if I got into an argument or, if someone offended me...
I've seen you get into arguments. Now, the kind of fucking arguments that you get, let's say the one with Earl, right?
Okay.
Would you have been better off if you would have killed Earl about a year ago? Or would you have a nagging fucking guilt about taking his life?
I mean, honestly, I think with Earl... During the height of our anger, I could have killed him and be guilt-free.
But what about now? Now that the time has gone by, you know what I'm saying? You're fucking carrying that around. And you've taken every breath of fucking air. I don't think most people are comfortable with it. That's why, like, even back in the old West days, there was only, like, Billy the Kid here or Jesse James there. Most people weren't going around killing the fuck out of each other. You know what I'm saying? Most people weren't gunfighters. That was a rare fucking breed.
But in the Wild West, it was
in the Wild West, you take a guy like Billy the Kid, he's famous for being a gunfighter. Most people weren't gunfighters. They were like those fucking sheep herders that you see in the movies that never even had a gun. They just had broken fucking English.
But I think...
Because it takes a lot to take a guy's fucking life.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, but I think because society didn't frown on it in the Wild West, if you were justified, you wouldn't then develop the guilt.
John, you're on Fez.
Hey, what's up, guys? This summer I brought my 16-year-old sister school shopping, and it was probably the best experience of my life, even though I know it was wrong.
That's your sister.
Little girls.
That's your sister.
No, not her.
Oh, good. All right, good. He's just looking.
It was the sister.
I was there. Your sister's hot. Trust me.
Matt, you're on the Ron and Fez show. Welcome, Matt.
Hey, welcome. I don't think, the 2100s, over there in the future, man, because think about it, you're not going to have to do anything. You have technology to do all the work for you and everything. You just be probably a lot funner.
So you want to be born in the future so a robot can play in the football game. Here's Mike. Mike, you're on Fez.
Hey, Ronnie. When I was a kid, I grew up in a small, like a fishing town in Nova Scotia in the 70s. And when I talk to all my friends now, I'm in a metropolitan area now, I talk to my friends now that grew up in the 70s, and looking back, man, it seems like I was living in the 1950s down there, man, because we were totally out of the loop, like, compared to everybody else.
What town were you in?
It was a little town called Lunenburg.
So you were just up there in a little town and everything was like, just like sweet and away from everything.
Oh, man, it was like, well, 2 TV channels and no such thing as FM radio or like, it was real slow, man. Everything would shut down at 6 o'clock at night, and I'm telling you, man, it was small time, but, like...
See, that's what the thing is. Fezzi is like, he thinks the 1950s are like happy days. You know what I mean? But if you really look at it, the number one fucking things... Like, Elvis wasn't touring the country the way you think of as a tour.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? He would fucking... Because there was no market out there for fucking shit. You know? He was like extreme for the fucking 50s.
I mean, it seems like the 50s were suppressive.
Yeah, unless you happen to be in Manhattan. And then the fucking 50s were the 60s. You know?
See, yeah.
If you look at Manhattan during the 50s, it was way fucking hip. But, what was that movie that in Cold Blood movie that they did, where that was the 50s, and actually I think even early 60s.
Yeah.
And he left New York to go to,
Capote, yeah.
Yeah, but what fucking state was
Kansas?
It was Kansas.
It was Kansas.
And you might as well fucking left the planet. I mean, those people were fucking living in like a whole different gimmick. Here's Pat. Pat, you're on Fez.
Hey, buddies, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, MSNBC is reporting that the House just voted down the bailout bill.
Wow. I put it on up there. The Democrats have gone 143 yay, 95 fucking nay. That's fucking gigantic.
Have a good one, buddies.
All right. The Republicans went only 65 yay, 133 nay. So this thing got beat, and not even close, beat by like 23 votes. So now, as this happens, the Dow is plunging, going through the toilet as this is going on. It's down how many points now?
488?
So more than 500.
More than 500 now.
It peaked at 7, and now it's down. It's below. It dropped by more than 500 points.
All right, so it will be interesting now. The president's going to have to take the bill back and take another look at it and see if he can't fix it somehow and make these fucking nays a little happier. But this one wasn't even close.
Whoa.
And the
21 votes off.
And the president was so adamant about this has to get done. This has to get passed this week, or we're really in trouble just by waiting.
Well, it's only Monday.
Well, it looks like it's over.
What's over? The U.S.?
Those companies. And the thing I don't understand about it is there's so many companies out there. I mean, so why don't we just let these companies go down?
Because they all owe money to each other. Look, the thing is, like you saying, what I don't understand, I'm telling you right now, only the really fucking hardcore economics fucking guys know what's going on. We just don't get this thing at all. And they're the ones that are bringing it up to the president. We got the fucking shot at a depression coming up. And the reason why Obama and McCain are saying, yeah, I'll go along with it, it ain't because they understand it. It's because they don't want a fucking depression either. If this thing fucking crashes through, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, neither one of them, they'll end up being the face of whatever economic downturn we'll have. I mean, because people's memories.
You start having fucking soup kitchens, Earls out there.
Yeah,
10 cents a dance. That's what they pay me.
These candidates have to start offering a new deal for each American.
I know Earl does like soup, though. Might not be bad for him.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to rock in a fucking pimp pan. You're just going to see me out pouring out some of the fucking RNF bitches. I don't mean that in a bad way, because I'm going to take care of each of you. Don't start crying. Come to daddy. Who's watching over you? Wipe those tears out. I want you to suck a dick and come back to me with that $3.
I'm going to go to the Price Club and just buy a shitload of food then. And put it.
It's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Go to Price Club and just get a bunch of fucking food.
And no, I mean, saying
wheat thins. Come back with a bunch of wheat thins.
Something a little more high end, I think.
No, my mom told me she was trying to stock up on like stuff like rice. They won't let you do it because they're fearing like a big rice shortage. So some foods you can't buy in bulk already.
What's with you and your mom and the rice? Who is she, Uncle Ben?
She is convinced.
Every fucking meal, she's got to have a tub of rice rocking next to it.
She is convinced that it's coming. You should see the kitchen. It is completely stocked with canned goods. She is just like hoarding stuff left and right. She thinks it's coming.
Well, let her know. She can be part of my stable.
Oh, yeah.
Unmasked is happening tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. at Comics Comedy Club with special guest Simon Pegg. You can still get your free tickets by emailing live@xmradio.com, live@xmradio.com. Be sure to put Simon Pegg in the subject heading for Unmasked tomorrow, 11 a.m., Comics Comedy Club.
Peter, you're on Run and Fez.
Yeah, I guess back to this decade bit. I don't understand how people would want to live after, or before the 30s with penicillin. Like, most of us would be dead from childhood.
I'd be dead without penicillin. I was on it for a year when I was a little kid.
Oh, yeah, I'd be dead. I mean, I wouldn't be here, too. Half of us would be gone.
Yeah, and not to mention polio. Fucking Dave would be all crippled up with polio.
Well,
I'm so happy you're here in the 20s. my problem is I went in the pond.
My grandmother was a teenager in the 20s, so she's fine. I mean, it's ridiculous. I could hang out with her. Go on a date.
Sick fuck.
Very good-looking woman, though, like back in the day, if you saw the pictures.
Right, here's the deal. Let's say your mom and your grandmother, right?
Yeah.
Let's say Nazis came in.
Okay.
They put a gun to your head.
All right.
You will be killed unless you experience oral with your mom and your grandmother.
Okay.
The question is, do you give or receive?
Oh, Jesus.
That's a simple question, my friend.
Okay, all
That's
right.
a simple question. Why do you act baffled?
Okay.
All right, I want you to wait on it.
Okay.
Fezzi?
I would receive from grandma and mother.
How could you do that? You limp dick motherfucker. What if you couldn't finish?
Oh, man.
We would have to deal with that as a family later on.
You can't get out until you finish. You can't get done with this.
Oh, man.
One of you got to finish the deal. So you're going to come in your grandmother's mouth.
I would have to, yes.
Why not?
And hopefully, she takes the teeth out.
Oh.
I'll knock those fuckers out.
Horrible.
I'll be thrusting so hard. Earl, your call.
I'm dry heaving. Just I would give.
Oh my gosh!
Sick prick.
Going down on his grandma.
You're so sick. He's probably already done it.
Oh,
you've already done it.
Absolutely.
Why? Why no hesitation then?
That was hesitation. I got freaking vomit up. I got bile in my throat.
Oh, that's good, Earl.
Oh,
faster, Earl, faster. Just like your granddad.
How about you, Davy Mac?
Oh, God. I hate to do this. I side with Earl. I'd go down on my grandma. I think, and you said, and your mom too. So yeah,
it's got to be a three-way.
Right.
Yeah,
at
it's got to be a three-way.
At least, God, I can't believe I'm saying. At least I'm giving them sexual pleasure, and I think I would be more horrified by having my mom go down.
Here's the thing. Since they got to finish, what a relief it would be to hear your mom coming. All right, good. Thank God. Matt, you're on Fez.
Yeah, hey guys. CNN has got Dow going down more than 600 points now, although it doesn't say the vote's through. It just says on fears that the package won't, that it'll fail, the vote will fail. But so I don't know if it's gone through or not, but now it's down more than 600 points.
Well, Earl, you have the TV on. It's failed, right, the vote?
Yeah, it was failed on CNN reported that it
All right,
failed.
CNN better update
Failed,
their
Dozer.
website.
Or is it not done?
It says bill on verge of failure.
Well, it says time remaining 0. Kyle, you're on Run of Fez. Kyle.
Yeah, I would have to say that 1980s would be the best, only because you can have the dumbest moves on the dance floor and pick up any chick. You can wiggle your ass, and the girls just go crazy. And I'm 22 right now, and I don't even step into a club because I don't want to look like a dumbass.
Now, here's the other thing. You could be a horrible comedian, make big money. You could be a bad shock jock, make big money. The 80s were fucking wide open. Wide open. Here's Jay. Jay, you're on Run of Fez.
Hello?
Yeah, what do you got?
Oh, I'm saying the late 70s, early 80s, because of good blowing grass, that's a given. But the girls started wearing French cut bikinis, and they actually started using a safety razor.
Finally starting to wade through there. Knock that bush down.
Not important.
That's another thing while you're fucking munching on your grandmother.
Man.
Imagine that 80-year-old bush.
Gray. Oh, come on, Mr. B, 95.
95.
Grandma.
Stale. First of all, first 15 minutes you're going through dry.
Oh, it was terrible.
Give me like licking dirt.
You got to make your way through the underbrush, Dave.
I'm saying this right now, Granny, you better shower before this happens. Because I know she goes a few days sometimes without showering. I'm not doing it if she doesn't take a bath. No.
Old people hate to waste the water.
Hey, Tug, you're on Run Fez. Waste. Take a fucking bath. That's what you're supposed to do. Ain't wasting, you're using it.
Hey, guys.
It's only a waste if you turn it on and leave.
Hey, guys. First of all, Davy Mac, your grandma probably is the only one that you even remotely know that lived through the Depression if she's in her 90s. But I'd rather get than give, and just as my mom was blowing me, I'd dump in her face, because with any luck, the bitch is in hell standing in shit up to her chin, and the devil periodically comes by and shoots hot, sulfury jizz in her face.
Fez, how did you get on this end of the phone? Now, what is your big problem with your mom?
My big problem? Well, did you ever hear the old story about lots and lots of uncles?
Yeah.
Well, I had lots of uncles, and that bitch used to take every bit of money that I earned and my older brother earned, she'd take it away from us and go out into town being a drunk. And at 13, I came home. She's on the daybed with Uncle Charlie, who I never seen before, stark naked. And she says, Brian, give Charlie his underpants. So I hope that fucking cunt is the happiest memory of my life with my mother, was her taking her last breath. I watched it. So
Now,
Fezzy,
Fez.
your mom ain't shit. What? Go ahead.
Fez, your child or his? Who sounds worse?
His sounds worse.
Now, why does he seem like he's able to deal with it? You can't.
I don't think he's able to deal with it. He's wishing for the devil to jack off in her face still.
Yeah, at least he's got a point of view, though. He feels like he's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like I'm right, but, you know, it's all in how people react to things.
But why are you keeping it quiet to yourself?
Because that's the way I take it in. I'm still looking for approval. He's not. He's looking for burning in hell.
If you're looking for approval, why would you be having the show you're having today?
Yeah, I won't be getting any. I don't. Not for myself.
You want me to dress up like a devil and jerk off in your mom's face?
Would you?
I would, Ron.
First of all, you wouldn't even have to do anything to look like the devil. You got the fucking beard and the red face. You seriously.
I know.
You look just like him.
Yeah, I know. Horrifying my parents right now. And they live next door to a family actually oddly named the McDonald's, and I scared their children. I literally frightened kids.
Were you were telling me you were getting crazy phone calls all weekend?
Oh yeah, AJ Dynamite. He called me Friday and Saturday and Sunday about us going to David Blaine. He's all upset about maybe
What's he upset about?
He was upset that he thought he perhaps offended David Blaine so much, and that's why we didn't make the ABC footage on David Blaine's special.
What did you say to him?
On Friday, I said, "Hey, buddy, no, you didn't offend anybody. You just you were great. You were rocking and rolling." On Saturday, I'm like, "I'm telling you, you didn't offend him." And then by Sunday, I didn't pick up the phone. I couldn't talk with the craziness.
Why didn't you say the other? What? I'll play the part of you.
Okay.
You play the part of AJ.
Okay.
I'll show you how to handle this.
Dave, do you think I offended David Blaine by what I said to him?
Hold on, I'm on the other side with ABC, on the other line with ABC right now. They're all pissed off about what you said the other night. Let me call you back because they're furious.
I thought
that would be the end of it.
I know.
Let them sit there worrying.
I thought I would tell him something nice.
Then you call back later and try to figure out.
Dave, I'm still pretty worried about ABC.
Hold on.
Okay.
They're talking lawsuits. I'm trying to tell them it's not your fault.
What?
I'll call you back.
So, he left a voicemail, too.
Who else called you?
Craze called me. So 2/3 of the contest winners are on the horn with Davey Mack. Rocking and rolling.
Flight Benefits sent me some stuff from Craze. Apparently he was holding court on Pal Talk, giving behind the scenes with Ron and Fez stories. She sent me a bunch of them. We'll see if Hicks has them ready today or tomorrow. Of just Craze going on and on.
I'll have them tomorrow. I don't have them right now.
Yeah, what do I care?
But AJ Dynamite, that he's a piece of work.
Well, I notice now he just shows up all the time here.
He
just
was
comes in.
here, yeah.
We got no security whatsoever.
And he calls me David. It's very formal with him.
He told me he saw an Arbitron that spiked after we were with him. He goes, the ratings are in, and they're just really taking off since I joined your show. I go, really? It's good to hear.
Well, he makes lots of jokes, and he's very paranoid, so I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, he loves the ladies.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Crazy Jen? She used to fill that fucking role for us. We'll take a break. Run a fest. All right, some talk about it being Dave and Crazed.
I'm not going to comment publicly on that, no.
He was calling you over the weekend.
So was Mr. Dynamite.
What were you guys doing? Working on spot breaks? Then it'll be just like, I wish I lived in the 1800s so I could kill people.
Me too, Dave. Well, I mean, thinking about that, though, because I've been thinking about
you would not be able to, look, kill and not be guilt-free.
The only thing I think that prevents me from doing that is simply the punishment. I honestly think the only thing that prevents me from killing or shit, I'll fucking rape if I know I can get away with it. I truly believe that.
This is something you're proud of, that you can rape if you wouldn't get caught.
If I saw Cindy Crawford walking on the sidewalk and no one was around...
By the way, I hope she doesn't have XM and has to hear this. Like, you're driving down, you got your kids in the back seat, and then you'd hear, what does he mean rape, Mommy?
And I saw Miss Crawford, I would rape her.
What year is this, by the way?
She's still the top of the game.
Oh, she's still rapeable. You know, honey, you're still rapeable. Don't put yourself down.
I would still do it because I know that...
What are you, a Viking? You know, because Mooch is saying you don't look Irish. Maybe it's Viking blood is what you have.
I have a little German and a little Scottish, but I'm mainly Irish. Let's not get that confused. I'd rape the shit out of Cindy Crawford.
You're probably crossing a line by even saying that.
All right.
Because I know, you know how I try to keep you on the air?
Yeah.
Probably not the best thing for you to be yelling out.
Okay, but I'm just saying I think punishment has a lot more to do with the way people act than we realize, because I think I could actually do it. If I saw a hot chick, I could do it. I could.
Dave, do you know how old Cindy Crawford is now? She must be in her 40s, like. It's hardly... It's not
you
like
got so many others to rape.
We're just talking about Cindy McCain. Age is a number, pal.
Would you do her as well if you could get away with it?
I would. I'm not going to say the word, but I would do what I just said to Cindy McCain.
So nobody can pull this off. This little piece of audio will not come back and haunt you.
Yeah, because a guy...
Well, it's very, very funny here. It's, O&A, we're talking about religion today with the director of that Bill Maher film. But you could see that so much of the old religion was to keep the morons in line. That you had to say to them, look, if you do the things that your desires, if you fulfill your animal desires, you will not only get killed, which they could probably deal with, but then after you're killed, you're going to burn forever. They had to come up with something to keep people like Dave in line.
Yeah.
And you're like, out of all of us, you're the most of a religious person where religion is really like good people and bad people, right? And you try to do good so Jesus will like you.
Yeah, I think, that's me in a nutshell. I do think good acts, for the most part, will get you into heaven and all that. But I also believe in, acts of contrition and forgiveness, and I think I could be forgiven, for doing...
But why so personal between you and God? That always confuses me. All right, let's say you're a person, you're not like Earl where you think that the earth is 6,000 years old,
Yeah,
right?
that's ridiculous.
So you think it's millions of years old,
Right, if not billions.
All right, let's go billions of years old.
Yeah.
Now, the whole concept of good and evil only belongs to human beings, right?
Right.
And that's only really been around for... that part of it, let's say 3,000 years. We'll go back 1,000 years before Christ. So before, in the billions of years that the universe was around, and that your Lord God was around, nobody made it to heaven until a few thousand years ago. He didn't get interested in heaven. And then also, you didn't get there on good fucking grades until... he only became interested in good and evil because he doesn't have any good and evil in any of his other creatures.
Right.
Rats don't have a good and evil. Sharks don't have a good and evil.
Well, I'm not sure if this is heretical to say, but I don't think necessarily that God is a perfect being. I mean, why can't you people just admit that maybe there is this like all-powerful person who also has grown the way human beings grown? And
so he was really a childish God for quite some time.
I mean, in all seriousness, yeah. Like in other words, he created the earth millions of years ago, not like Earl, and then maybe got bored or maybe thought like, you know what, I need to create something deeper than this, than just have rivers and animals. I need something deep, something more meaningful.
So you're really impressed with humans?
Yeah.
You're not so impressed with the beauty of the other animals. Humans is it for you?
So what you're saying is whenever humans arrived, that's when God started to mature?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Bullshit. That's just Christianity's point of view.
That's his maturity factor.
No, I thought...
And so now he's getting more mature that he doesn't mind about, like, gay marriage and stuff like this. He's like, that's just humans putting our own society onto the religion that we've been given.
No, I mean...
which is a really interesting thing, because with the religious right now, they have a personal relationship with Jesus, which is so new. That's only in the last 20, 30 years. Well, you couldn't have that before.
Well, isn't that sort of the point of Martin Luther and the kind of Presbyterian, the reform of the church was that it was a personal thing with Jesus, and you could talk to God, and it wasn't about being told what the God told you.
But even before that, you would look back and people, if there was anything of angels, they would fall to their knees and look at the floor, not worthy of their God. Not like, God, help me win this softball game because I've been a good person.
Or a politician saying, how should I vote on this issue? Well, I'll speak to God and he'll tell me. Like, that's heresy in medieval times.
I would even love to find this out from some of the religious right who believe, what would Jesus do? When we've had a president who's tried to do that for 8 years, right? And nothing seems to work out for. If anything, he's turned to Job here in the final days.
Jesus seems to want to screw our economy and start wars everywhere. It's pretty scary.
Yeah, you don't. He's been just steered so wrong by his spiritual guide.
But that would prove my God is not perfect theory correct, because God has anger issues, and if you ask God shallow things...
Well, you did have an angry God in the Old Testament, but then also the Vikings had gods of all different personalities. Gods of wars, gods that were jealous of each other. Now, we throw that out because we're modern people with modern ideas, like Jesus returning from the dead, flying into the sky, and now later, doing nice things for us.
Right. Well, I mean, but I think those other, the Vikings with several gods were just talking about one God who had several emotions.
No, they weren't.
I mean,
they were talking about all different gods.
I know that. That's what I'm saying, though. They evolved into realizing that God has several different emotions.
Well, they didn't evolve into it. They were conquered into becoming Christians. Like most of the Christians you see out there, England had different religions. Ireland had different religions. Italy had different religions. And they had to be, punished into accepting.
Like the Greek and Roman gods, I like learning about them because they seem to have personality. One would get angry and his wife would do something and he would piss off somebody on the earth that she looked after. It was all about personal vendettas. And
it was this nice soap opera like, oh, he's so pretty? Well, then let me break his fucking face. See how you like him now. And he would have to fight back from it.
That's what you got to take it back a step, and it's all about explaining why stuff happened in the human realm with supernatural causes. I mean,
I definitely want to see this movie, the Bill Maher movie. What's the name of it?
Religiosity?
No, Religulous?
Religulous.
That's it. It's a stupid name.
Like ridiculous?
Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
But why come up with a title people can't remember easily? I don't know why people always want to do that.
I don't know. Lakeview Terrace.
Here's David. David, you're on Run Fez.
N-E-W-P's hold.
What can we do for you, David?
N-E-W-P's hold. N-E-W-P's hold.
That's the whole thing. That's your bit. That's our bit. There's no reason like you're turning on it. Hey, T, you're on Run Fez.
Hey, buddies. How you doing? Hey, I just wanted to Dave for a minute. Dave, you said that you believe that the way you get into heaven is by works. Is that right? Good deeds?
Yeah.
It says in the Bible, man, that you are saved by grace and by grace alone, not through works, so that no man can boast. It's not about what you do, man. It has nothing to do with what you do, because we can never be good enough to get into heaven.
Ooh. I mean,
think about.
But what is grace except for being good?
No, man. Grace is what God does for you. It's God's grace that just lets you into heaven. I mean, think about the guy on the cross next to Jesus when he was hanging up, man. He was all he did was look over and say, "God, remember me," or "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And he said, I tell you that today you'll be with me in heaven. He didn't do anything good. It was just God's grace that saved him.
In other words, it's not about good deeds. It's about acceptance and hitting your knees, particularly there at the end. No one ever says you have to do good things to get into heaven. You have to accept.
Wow.
You're a Catholic and you don't have to worry about the Bible as much.
I just don't believe that because, I mean, David Berkowitz believed in God and shot
Yes,
people.
he is right now. He's a born-again Christian, and he, according to the rules, will be in the kingdom of heaven. Now, the interesting thing is, if one of the people that he shot in the head had not accepted Christ, maybe that would come later in their life too. They're burning in hell right now. The victim is burning in hell because they didn't accept Christ. The person who shot them, the mad dog who hurt his fucking pat tum with the dope, shot them. He's going to heaven.
That just seems mixed.
John, you're on Run of Fez.
How you doing there, Pastor Ronnie B?
What can we do for you?
The drinking show got canceled on Friday. I was wondering if you could reschedule it and make sure that the new Lily is around.
I'm going to go no on the drinking shows, and I'll tell you why. Fez brought up a good point about the last time he got drunk, he was a problem for everybody, and then everyone was going, should he go to the hospital?
Yeah.
And now today I read about a guy dying in a hot sauce contest, and we used to do those all the time. I just hate the fact that every time we do any kind of stunt, that people ask if we should call an ambulance to me every fucking time. I just don't want to play those games anymore. Here's Brian. Brian, you're on Fez. Brian.
Hello.
What do you got for us, buddy?
Hey, I got it. Last caller called in and said that the Bible says that you get in by God's grace alone, and it does not say that in the Bible anywhere.
But why would the Bible matter? That's what always gets to me. Because you got Jesus Christ, right? He's the Son of God. You know what he wrote? Nothing! So now you're going to pay attention what some other people wrote down? If you're a Christian, you would be a follower of Christ, not a follower of other people. So the Bible part always confuses me. Earl, why does the Bible matter to you?
It matters to me because it's a point of reference. It's a guide. It's a guide for me. I don't see it as much as a lot of people say. Well, you got to be really hardcore and this and that. I was like, no, you use it as.
Well, you're obviously not. You jacked off all over a stripper.
I'm not saying I'm not perfect.
You're
totally
far from perfect.
I'm far from it.
You're not even mediocre right now.
I'll be the first person to admit that.
No, not why I'm here. You'll never be the first person to admit that you're shit. You will always be second, Earl.
But for me, I always use the Bible as
to keep your fucking papers from blowing away. That's what you use the Bible for.
For me, it's a point of reference.
Coaster.
No,
you're an embarrassment. Here comes Franklin. Franklin, what are you trying to say?
I think that all these
You're
points
Santeria.
of view. Well, no, I'm more spiritual than I'm actually like celebrating any kind of individual religion. But I think it's unbelievably egotistical to give God human attributes. It's like why would God care about grace or care in general, or why is God a human or a being? You know what I mean? Like, why isn't God just energy or life?
Well, the deal that we were taught is that we were built like God, and we're his all-time favorites. His old-time favorites.
We were built in the image of God, so naturally,
he's got 2 legs and 2 arms, and then he floats in space.
No. We came last.
He doesn't have arms and legs.
No, he doesn't have arms and legs. But
what does he have?
Well, I mean, he had like
a floating head.
He
like
probably
Zardoz?
has that. He probably has
you
that.
think he's a big? You think he's just a floating head?
Well, no, I mean, but if you're talking to God in heaven, you have to be looking at something. So I'm sure that even if it's just for you personally, he'll come up with like a giant head image.
That's assuming that
or Morgan Freeman.
You're assuming communication in heaven is going to be like the way we're talking now. Like, what if it's just thoughts and images?
I mean, we're not going to talk through our ears.
What are you having? What if
we're
you're
not
not
going to
talking at
have
all?
ears or mouths?
Why wouldn't we?
What if it's
because
vibration?
our bodies stay here and they deteriorate. How can we have bodies? Our body doesn't go on, does it?
No, but
then
I mean,
what are we going to have?
If we're
New
all,
bodies?
I get what you guys are saying. If we're all just like little pieces of fog, then how are
Why
we
would
going
we?
to?
No, we won't be fog. Fog is a physical thing.
So then, how are we ever going to... If I want to talk to you, Mr. B, in heaven, how am I ever going to find you?
You won't, because we'll both be dead there.
We won't be dead. We'll be alive in heaven.
How are we going to be alive?
Eternal life. That's what it's about.
But you're acting like our bodies are going to show up somehow.
Well, I do think that we're going to have, like we'll look like ghosts, but we're going to have bodies. We're going to have our arms and our legs. And
we
shit.
have angel wings, and we live on clouds, and we hang out with Jimi Hendrix and stuff.
I do not want wings.
Come on,
Why
that's
not?
cartoonish.
Just in the way. It's one more thing to have to take care of.
All right, then wait here while the rest of us are flying. You're going to have to sit on a goddamn cloud. Because I ain't carrying you. Not when we get up there.
You could, though.
Be
He'd
molting?
be very light.
I would be incredibly disappointed if I was even stuck in a body after I died. If I had an after consciousness and I found myself in a regular form and I couldn't change that'd be really disappointing. I'd like to be able to just float away and do whatever the hell I want.
Is it because you're black?
No.
You want to peel up with that in heaven? God damn it. I still can't escape it.
The only heaven
See,
I
if
want,
Lily would have said that, everybody'd be mad.
no, the only heaven I want is defending your life. Do you know that movie where he's dead and you can eat anything you want and you can hang about and
9 pies. I want to give you 9 pies.
That movie had a bus where they were going into heaven.
Here is let's go over here to Pat. Pat, you're on Run of Fez.
Hey, buddies.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say what?
What?
Don't do that,
Hey,
Fez.
Ronnie B. Yesterday or last night, I was hearing your Ronnie B. interviews.
Yeah.
I was wondering if there will ever be an episode of Ronnie B. gets interviewed.
I'm going to wait till one day Fez has some interest in my life. And Fez is going to... There will be a show that we do that you're going to ask me questions, and when I say things, you're going to respond. It's not going to be soon, but that day will come. And that will be the day that I get interviewed.
That's definitely the plan.
Yeah. So it's not today.
No. Sorry, it's not today. No, sorry about that.
Would that be a nice interview?
Ron, where were you born?
He's never asked me anything about my life. There has never been a single time. And this is honestly where people always go, oh, but we don't know a lot about you. He never asked me a thing. He's never interested. There's never even been off air. How your folks doing? Nothing like that has ever come up. Here is here's Aaron. Aaron, you're on Run of Fez.
Hey, what's up, buddies?
Yeah.
Hey, I was calling to find out what happens to the poor motherfucker in South of Africa that the missionaries never reach, that never learns about Jesus. What happens to that poor guy?
He goes to what I would call African heaven.
It's very hot.
And pies. Just wherever you go, there's another kind of pie.
Like, according to Christianity, those people end up in limbo. I used to get in so much trouble when I was in Catholic
They got
school.
rid of limbo.
They did get rid of limbo?
Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore.
I find that to be the whole concept of just you not being the same as these people. That means you're going to be like left in some kind of terrible place. And
well, that would be hell.
Yeah,
that's a lot worse.
That's my point about limbo. If something becomes unfashionable in our society and we go, oh no, like, God didn't mean that. He meant in the past, not now. Like, you know, it's rubbish. It's all rubbish. There's no heaven. It's not.
Every one of those rules are written by men in the Bible. Like, there's no God came down with a Bible book that's been copied over and over
Why
again.
weren't you guys here to be interviewed by Larry Charles? This could have been the movie. So you're spiritual.
Mhm.
You're not religious.
No, I think religion came about, I think, as a way for leaders to control small
So what does
populations
being
of
spiritual
people.
mean? What's that mean?
I
to you?
believe, I feel that there's an energy of life that makes me connected to other people. And I feel that that drives me to want to do good in my life, but it's not because of a fear of hell.
Now, I am shocked that you ever want to do good. As much as I know you and see the way you manipulate women, I can't imagine that you think that you're doing well.
That's because from the outside, my actions seem like manipulation, but from my own heart, they're just my actions. You understand what I mean? When someone else
You
has...
justify everything.
Well, no, I just have a reason why I do it. Like, other people look at my actions and think, well, you couldn't possibly really feel like this, so they think I'm some brilliant mastermind or something. Where
No one thinks you're a brilliant mastermind. If anything, we think you're a cheap hood. That's the only thing. Here's Bill. Bill, you're on Run of Fez.
Hey, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Hey, when they go to African heaven, will those flies go up there too?
Well, let's even bring up the flies. Why should anyone think that we are more impressive than the flies? That's a weird thing to me. Those things are alive. They've got their own thing. They're not operating on good and evil. We're the ones that slow everything down with the good and evil talk. They just sit along and do everything they can do to survive, no matter what they have to do.
Because they have no ability to have rational thoughts, and they can't have.
So what?
Have discussions.
What
about
is so
logic.
good about a rational thought?
Well, because it's.
Do you honestly think that any god that could invent mountains and water and gravity and solar system would be fucking interested in your rational thought? You think you could hold his attention for a second when you can't even seem to hold mine?
I think actually yes, because I think God's very curious.
Why would he be curious?
Well, I mean,
he knows all. There's nothing he doesn't know, including the future.
But if you have like an ant farm, you're going to be interested in all the ants.
Absolutely not. I had an ant farm when I was a kid. I went over and knocked it over every once in a while. It bored me shitless after 3 days. And the other thing is, when that ant farm was gone, I didn't care. Not slightly. Not even slightly.
That could happen one day to us.
Yes, that's my point.
If we keep at it.
If God is the way that you're describing him, he couldn't possibly care what we do here. And I mean, you could just see that in the terms of the storms that we have, disease, war, the fact that no big hand comes in from the sky has got to show that he's not involved.
Well, I think that, I personally believe that, I agree, maybe he doesn't care because he's already made up the plan of how everything's going to go. In other words, preordained destiny.
You know what is great with you?
Yeah.
You're like meeting an Indian or a pygmy back in the 1800s. You're just so primitive. You are. You just have primitive ideas. At least Franklin's trying to work something out.
Oh, come on. That's just like hippie new age bullshit of I'm a fucking
Why
life
is
force.
that? No.
Come on.
But why is his bullshit and yours? No, believe me, you don't want to defend anything. But what I'm trying to say is, why is whatever he does to get him through the night, why is it less than yours?
Because he is doing politically correct religion. He's saying, oh, I believe in the God, but I don't want to offend any Jews or Christians or Muslims because I want to be friends to everyone. It's perfectly like him because he's not choosing a side. He's not making a decision.
First of all, by not choosing means that you're wrong in every one of those religions that you're talking about. As soon as you go off the path, you're fucking wrong. The Christians aren't, well, at least he has a nice religion. They're like, no, you're going to hell. There's no Christian religion who says that he's going to do anything but burn for what he said.
Well, look, I personally believe that you can be wrong but still go to heaven. That's why I said the thing about the works. I think that, the Jews, unfortunately, look, no offense, they had it wrong. I mean,
none taken, Dave.
I don't think that this is easy at all. I grew up Catholic until I was in 8th grade. You know what I mean?
Frankly, you just sound sillier. You're sounding exactly like him. So the fact that you think that you're right is already, in my opinion,
I don't think
making you seem silly.
My point is, anyone that chooses a religion is wrong. Because you can't verify this. There's no facts to back this up.
Absolutely.
So as soon as you say, I'm right, and they're all going to burn in hell, you're wrong.
Now, even knowing that, in the back of your mind, do you feel like there's something connected?
Yeah, I believe in God, yes, but I don't believe in religion. I don't.
What about Jesus? Can we ask that?
No, I don't believe in Jesus. Well, I mean, he might have been a person. I mean, there's somebody said that he has some ideas that came from somebody called Jesus.
Why does that make you so upset?
You're a fucking Irish Catholic. How can you? First of all, we have proof that the guy existed.
We don't have proof that he existed as a god.
Yeah.
I know, but I mean, we have proof of the things that he said and that.
No, we don't. We don't have one thing that was proof. If he would have bothered writing a book, yes, we would have proof. We do not. We have some stories that are around. Whether they were his stories or not, the fact that there are parables could be that these were just things that were going around that were attributed to him. We have no way of knowing. And I'm not saying that as a way of saying that the Bible's bullshit, but if you just want to look at the facts part of it, we don't have a book written by Christ.
Right, but the first gospel was written...
We don't have anything that belongs to him.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I think the first gospel was written 30 years after Jesus.
So that's fucking hideous.
Well, no, but I mean, that's, you know...
That's not good. That's not good reporting.
No, but
they come up 30 years after.
But oral history can be transferred 30 years and be pretty accurate. I mean,
absolutely not.
We're talking about Jimmy Carter.
Have you written how many books have been written about Elvis that sound different? So no, your thing of this is accurate. Absolutely not. I disagree with 100% in terms of what he did. We can't scientifically say that that's accurate. Doesn't mean that the people who have faith are wrong.
Well, I mean, even if you didn't believe in the miracles, at least you could believe in some of, you know, the Beatitudes and shit like that. You know, I mean, like lessons that Jesus
believe
delivered.
in the teachings, and you can
we
base
don't
your
know.
life around
We
teachings.
don't know if Jesus delivered them. That's the problem.
There's no physical evidence that Jesus existed.
No, there is documentation that a person named Jesus existed.
And
I know
was
that.
crucified. There's even that much?
Yeah, I think that they have it down to where he was, but we don't have documentation about what he said. I don't think I think there are some people who said that he didn't exist, but I don't know if I fall for that because I think that would have already been exposed.
We know that Jesus existed. Now, if you're saying to me that...
No, we don't know that, but it would. I'm going to agree with you on the side of this.
Okay.
No, I mean, scientifically. I don't want to fucking sit around and act like I'm one of the fucking idiots acting like because something was told to me when I was 3.
Right.
But at the same time is where I disagree with Fez, is I don't think this mythology would have made any sense to just been made up out of fucking space. I think that you did need a person going around at that time, but then a lot of mythology got attached to him.
But couldn't you like argue that if so many different, you know, writers, I mean, at least 4 different gospel writers are all writing about this one guy?
That doesn't mean anything.
Well, 2,000 years from now, there'll be like 90 people writing about Batman.
But I mean, this is not a good. But they always say, okay, where there's smoke, there's fire. Like if so many
yes,
people
but that
are writing,
doesn't mean that what they wrote was specifically true. That doesn't mean anything along that. And as a matter of fact, there was more than 4, and they burned up a bunch of the other books. And that I would find troubling to get back to saying, is this a document of exactly what happened? That's the problem. Now, that doesn't have anything to do with faith. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If you have your faith there, you put it. Doesn't matter where you put it. You know, faith is an own personal thing. Yeah. Now, to go back, to me, the one thing that makes me think is the weirdest thing of all is that there is anything. The fact that there is anything at all is the weirdest thing in the whole world. And I'm actually way more moved when that scientist comes in here and tries to work on, you know, where the universe came from and how we all came along. I'm way more moved by that on a personal and what you would call spiritual level than I am by hearing some guy preaching, no matter which religion it happens to be. I think it's incredibly nuts that people exist and that the earth exists. But, you know, you look on the other side of it. I mean, as far as we can see, this is the only thing that we have found so far.
Right.
And this is the way we're acting with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're fighting over whether it was Jesus or Allah, and we're shitting over this short time that we're on this rock.
But that's us. That's our own human nature, is that we're going to do that no matter what. We're going to make up these superstitions and fantasies to explain what we can't explain. And it's never going to stop. The people will always go to these old myths.
Well, here's the weird thing. No matter where we went, they had some kind of God. We'd land on an island. There's 8 people. And they're going, you know what God is? He's the coconut giver. He's the one who put these coconut trees. And when he comes back, he needs to make sure that we made these faces out of rocks.
To say that it's because we can't deal with death is the main reason why that happened. And because you're in that horrible grieving process and you're completely irrational, you're saying, God is rational, and there is no rationale to God. It's to explain the most hurtful thing that any human can go through, and that's losing someone they love or need.
Well, that was the thing that we just brought up about that guy from the Bucks the other day. He just loses his baby. The following day, he's kicking in a game, and he says that his son helped him, and he kept talking to his son, and your heart breaks for the guy. Now, scientifically, were you taking a step back? If the kid was alive, he couldn't fucking help you. Right. So there's no way he got that ball through there. But does it help you? Does it make you feel better to believe in magic? You know?
It must do. It does. It absolutely does, because straight away we buy into it. When we need that explanation, we'll take it. So I think we do want it.
We don't want our moms to disappear. We always want our moms to be somewhere.
But, I mean, I think the fact that we have higher intelligence, and then if we believe in God, I think is a good enough proof that God does exist. Because animals, for instance, they don't believe, like, I mean, an animal's not going to be fearful of dying because animals don't believe in God. You know what I mean?
Isn't it?
Animals are fearful of dying because they want to survive. We all want to survive.
And animals and elephants actually acknowledge death. They know
they
when,
acknowledge death, but I mean, animals don't have like a god, that they whatever.
But they don't have a language. They don't have a lot of things. They're fucking idiots.
Pants.
But you know what I'm saying? Is
yes,
that human
I'm trying to point out to you of how many other things animals don't have that we have. And again, you try to humanize animals, and you try to humanize whatever the force is in the universe. They got us all here.
Because it deserves to be humanized. Because God is like a human. I mean...
You have no proof of any of these things, and you sound like a 3-year-old.
Okay, can I just give you one last argument? Why would we be the lucky ones? How come we just mentioned there's animals, there's fish, there's birds, but then all of a sudden... Human beings have the ability to have, to be able to think abstract thoughts and complex thoughts.
Why are we the unlucky ones we can't breathe underwater? Why are we the unlucky ones we can't fly?
But we can invent things to breathe underwater and fly.
Now, we didn't have them until recently. We weren't flying until 100 years ago.
But it just wouldn't make sense. Like, in other words, we should have primal fucking brains the way apes should have
We
brains.
had those until not that long ago. And look what you're doing with them now. You're throwing your own shit. You're not all that impressive. You're not all that impressive.
You still want to rape.
Yeah. You told us just
I would.
A little while ago that you would rape.
If I couldn't get caught. Watch out, Cindy Crawford.
You're odd. Here's Stella. Stella, you're on Manifest.
Hi. My personal Ichiban is I have a huge crush on Mooch.
Well, why don't you do this? Why don't you roll up here and he'll bang you standing up against the wall?
I could do that.
They love that Irish. They love that Irish voice.
Don't think she's coming in.
Now, you were telling me before you're in a relationship, but you cheat constantly. So that's really helpful. That's really helpful.
Especially with dames from Pennsylvania.
I can't believe. The weird thing about Mooch is having another heterosexual. It's really throwing things off. Here is, here's our good friends, Brazilian Julie. Hello, Julie.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Hi, darling.
Dave, don't you think that maybe, like, I don't think you see this, but maybe that we see that we create things, so we have to create something that created us? Do you understand? Like, the first tools were made by man, so we probably looked up and were like, oh, if we made this, then we have to be made by something.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that point, but I don't agree with it because I think that our brains are so advanced, they couldn't have come from, just anywhere. It couldn't have come from an ape.
What makes you think our brains are so advanced? What are you so impressed with?
If we necessarily came, say like from apes, then 10,000, 20,000 years from now, shouldn't there be another race of humans that evolved from these apes?
Another sentient animal that came up?
What are you talking about?
I think he means evolution. We're going to evolve into another state.
Why do you think that the fact that we evolved this way is any more impressive than the way the whale evolved, the shark, the jellyfish. Why are you so impressed with us? Why can't you sit and make a beehive if you're so intelligent?
Well, because those other animals, when they evolved, they couldn't all of a sudden have...
Maybe they evolved just the way that they needed to. Do you have the intelligence to make a beehive? Do you have the intelligence to swim upstream and fucking lay your eggs exactly where you were fucking born? There's a lot of things you can't fucking do. What your intelligence is putting on a Yankees hat and fucking cheering.
It's fun.
I know it is. You know what? It's at the end of the show. I'm going to give you a salt lick and put you out in the backyard.
Does this give me any Beanie Cup eligibility?
No, today you're as dumb as you've ever been.
I'm not
and
trying.
Fez hasn't even been involved in the show for the last hour.
I wasn't
You know
trying.
why? Because you can't stop yapping. And today was going to be your day, Fezzy.
It was going to be.
What happened?
Another failure.
Fezzy, is it because of Dave?
It's because of Dave.
See?
I wasn't... I think I made actual points, so...
What was your point? Just keeping Fez off the show?
No.
What is it?
Is that Casey? No.
Where?
Not much.
You're Casey? Here's, hold on. Casey, go ahead.
Is this Casey?
Yes.
Never mind.
That's her.
What is it, Fez? You're staring at that paper like it's going to talk for you.
Unmasked is tomorrow with special guest Simon.